uploaded a video. The last video I uploaded was the the Friday the 13th board game, where I unboxed it, showed you what was inside. I played the game. I actually went camping, funnily enough. What a coincidence, huh? I went camping with my family, and we all played the board game, and it's a fun game. It's kind of hard to figure out how to play it at first, but after a while, once you start playing it, you kind of get the hang of it, and it's a fun game. It's a pretty fun game to play. You can play it with from 3 to 6 people, so if you watch my last video, you can see what's inside the box and stuff. So today I'm going to be talking about the Pet Sematary movies. There are three of them. There's part 1, which came out in 1989. Part 2 came out in 1992, and then the remake came out last year. And then there also is this really good documentary called Unearthed and Untold: The Path to Pet Sematary, which is a great documentary on Pet Sematary. It tells you everything you need to know about the making of it. Really good. I got the Blu-ray version of it. You can get this online. Really good stuff. It's 97 minutes, so it's about almost an hour and 40 minutes long. It only talks about the first movie. It doesn't talk about the second movie or the remake or anything like that. It's a behind the scenes of the first movie, and it's very in depth. Tells you so many cool things that you probably didn't know. I don't want to go into them because there's so many of them, but if you haven't checked this out and you are a fan of Pet Sematary, get this documentary, Unearthed and Untold. Good stuff right here.
That's rad.
I have my dog Maisie here. I think maybe she wants to say hi. Come here, Maisie. Want to say hi to YouTube? You guys miss her? There she is. She's back. It's a big cameo. Look. Yeah. All right. Starting off, this is the original movie, Pet Sematary, 1989. My God, this is probably the movie that got me into horror movies. I mean, I saw this as a kid. This is like literally this is what is responsible for me being a fan of horror movies. This movie and Scream Part 1. So this is based off of Stephen King's, obviously, his book, Pet Sematary. And I've read the book. The book is actually quite scary. I mean, I think it's actually better than the movie. Most movies that are based on books are not as good as the book. Like Jurassic Park is a phenomenal movie. Like, that's one of my favorite movies. And so is Jaws. But both the Jurassic Park book and the Jaws book are both better than the movies. So, I mean, and the movies are flawless, but somehow the book's better. Go figure. So, like with same with this, the book is better than the movie.
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
I've only read the book once, but I remember it was good. So, there are gonna be some spoilers in here. I mean, this is a movie from 1989. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I mean, are you living under a rock or something? This movie is almost as old as I am. I was born in 1987, so I am 2 years older than this movie. Anyway, so it starts off. It's about a family, the Creed family, moving to a town in Maine. I forget where they're moving from. They mention it, but I can't remember off the top of my head where they're moving from. I don't know if it says. Yeah, doesn't say. But anyway, so it's this family, the Creed family. The last name is Creed. It's got the father's name is Lewis Creed. The wife's name is Rachel Creed. The little son, the little boy, played by Miko Hughes, who was the kid in Kindergarten Cop.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
He's also in Full House. Oh, there's a picture of him on the back.
Don't forget about Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
What? Am I dreaming? Oh yeah, he was in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That's right. So you get the husband, the wife, the son, and the older daughter Ellie, and their cat Church, all moved to this house in Maine. About 2 years ago, we took a road trip up to Maine, and I looked up the address of the house. We went there. I got pictures of it. Pictures of me outside the house. It's cool. Looks exactly the same as in the movie. So that was cool, seeing that house. So the plot of this movie is, so they moved to this town. It's right on the side of this road, this really busy road where these 18-wheeler trucks are going by all the time, just like all day long, just like flying by the house, 50 miles an hour. And so they have this family has a neighbor across the street, Judd, played by Fred Gwynne, who was Herman Munster in the show The Munsters, and he was the judge in that movie My Cousin Vinny with Joe Pesci.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
Tommy, no, you got it all wrong.
Oh, Anthony. He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
You're right.
Funny how? What?
Just, you know, you're funny.
You mean,
So?
well, let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
And so he's great in this movie. I mean, they replaced him because obviously the actor died. I mean, yeah, the actor died in real life. So when they remade the movie, they had to replace that actor. Well, they replaced all the actors, but you know what I mean. The actor's dead, so they had to find somebody to replace him, and I'll get to that later, but when I talk about the remake. So Fred Gwynne is just steals this movie. He is the best part of this movie, like the best actor and the best character in this movie as Judd. He has that Maine accent down perfectly.
Sometimes that is better.
That voice, man, is just so iconic, and every time he talks, it's just that guy.
Of course, I ain't never seen anyone go up that road. 6 years ago, a group of campers went up there and got lost. Had to eat each other to stay alive. Used to be the way to the O'Reilly house. He butchered over 50 children and kept their bodies in a cellar. But you should find an old bridge about halfway up. That bridge is cursed, you know. They built it with the bones of 200 Chinese laborers who were massacred in 34. Yeah, a lot of history on that rod.
So that's Judd. He's the neighbor across the street. So what happens is, the family's cat, Church, who's named after Winston Churchill, dies. And the father buries the cat. Judd tells him about this pet cemetery that's down the path behind their house. You follow a pathway into the woods, there's a pet cemetery where all the kids have buried their pets. But behind the pet cemetery, there's this big barrier of like sticks and like tree trunks and shit like that were put up to keep people out, because past the barrier is an Indian burial ground where if you bury something there, it returns to life, whether it's an animal or a human or whatever, it doesn't matter. It comes back to life if you bury it in the Indian burial ground past the pet cemetery, past the barrier. So what happens is, the cat, it's the daughter's cat. So when the father discovers the dead cat and doesn't tell the daughter because he wants to spare her feelings, he doesn't want her to know that her cat is dead. So Judd brings him out to the pet cemetery, and they're about to bury the cat there, and he says, "No, I have a better spot." So he takes him up past the barrier into the Indian burial ground, and they bury. Well, the father has to bury it because you have to bury your own. So if it's your cat or your whatever, your pet, you have to bury it. I mean, it wasn't his, it was his daughter's, but it was still his cat. So he buries the cat. The cat comes back. It has these glowing like yellow eyes now, and the cat's like evil. And then a little while later, the family is out. What are you barking at? The family is out next to the house in a field playing, they're having a picnic and stuff, and the little kid, Gage, the little baby, is flying a kite, and the kite gets away from him and goes in, and he follows the kite across the field into the road where an 18-wheeler comes and runs over the kid, kills him instantly, and it's horrifying. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I don't have a child, but I do have 7 nieces and nephews, and I mean, if any one of them died, I would be crushed. I couldn't imagine one of my own actual children, if I had one, being killed, especially right in front of me, and I had to, that's just crazy. And then the next, a few days later, they have the funeral for the kid, which is kind of weird, because the kid was hit by a truck that was doing at least 60, 70 miles an hour. You'd think his body would have just been splattered into an oblivion, just like a big mess of like if he just picked up a lasagna and threw a lasagna onto the street, it would just go everywhere, right? But at the funeral, his coffin gets knocked over and it opens up for a second. You can see his arm in there, and then later on, spoiler, well, whatever. Later on, the father digs Gage up, and he's holding him, and his whole body is intact. I mean, and then he buries him, and he comes back, and when he comes back, all he has is like a stitch on his forehead like this, just a couple stitches on his forehead. What? That kid would be, there wouldn't be anything left to bury. That kid would be fucking splattered all over the front of that truck. His body would not be intact, I'm sorry. Huge mistake. This is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I'm sure you've seen it. Who hasn't? I give this a 9 out of 10. Easily. This is a great, great, great movie. Love this movie. So, moving on to part 2. This came out a few years later. For some reason, I think a lot of people don't really care for this one. It's definitely not as good as the first one, for sure. But it is very entertaining, and I like it. It has Edward Furlong from Terminator 2 and Detroit Rock City. And Clancy Brown is in this. He plays the voice of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, me Bob!
He was also in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. This is a good movie. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not as good as the first one, but this is a good movie. It's about this father and son who move to Maine, the same town from the first movie. And they don't move into the same house as the family from the first one, but they live kind of near it. And there's a moment in the movie where they ride their bikes past the house. They didn't use the same house that they used in the first movie, but it's supposed to be that house. And obviously it's not, because it looks so different. But you see the mailbox outside that says Creed, which is the last name of the family from the first movie. So it's supposed to be that house, but it's not. It doesn't look anything like it. So the father and son, well, in the beginning it opens up with the wife, the mother of Eddie Furlong is an actress, and she's filming a movie and she gets killed on set. She gets electrocuted accidentally, and so Eddie Furlong and his father move to this town in Maine. The father is a veterinarian, and they move to this town. Eddie Furlong is bullied at school. The kids are there. The bullies there are fucking assholes. Anyway, so he has this friend. He meets this kid there that becomes his friend. And his friend has a dog, and Clancy Brown's character, the stepfather, he's the sheriff of the town. He's the stepfather of Eddie's friend. And that kid has a dog, and he shoots the dog, and the kid buries him in Pet Sematary. He comes back. I mean, there's not much plot here, but it's a fun movie. Eventually, Clancy Brown, the stepfather, gets killed by the dog. And the kids bury him at the Pet Sematary, and he comes back, and he's basically a zombie. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I mean, like I said, for some reason, a lot of people don't like this movie, but I do. I think it's good. It's not as good as the first Pet Sematary, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. I would give this a 6 out of 10. No, yeah, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's good. And then last is the Pet Sematary remake that came out last year, 2019. I saw this in theaters. They had been talking about making this remake since I remember reading stuff about it back in 2011, where they were trying to find a good script and nail down a script and a director and everything for this movie. So this has been in the works. They were working on this movie for about 8 years before it ever got made. So I saw this in theaters. Like I said, I wasn't particularly that happy with it. I think it could have been done better. Major spoiler for this movie, which they showed in the trailers. I mean, the trailer gave away the big spoiler of this movie, where instead of Gage getting hit by the truck, the daughter gets hit by the truck. So they switched that up. And, you know, if they didn't show that in the trailer, maybe I would have appreciated it more. But when I wanted to go see this movie, I already knew that was the big twist, that they switched Gage and Ellie. So I knew it was coming. But if I didn't see that in the trailer, maybe I would have been more shocked and I would have liked it more. But I knew it was coming, so I was like, ugh. I hate when fucking trailers ruin movies like that. They show you crucial things that they shouldn't show you in the fucking trailer. Like, do not spoil the movie for me in the trailer. They basically showed the whole movie in the second trailer. Not the first trailer that came out, but the second trailer. They gave everything away. It was ridiculous. So Judd, I wanted to talk to you about Judd. Fred Gwynne plays him in the first movie. So in this movie, they got John Lithgow, who's a good actor, to play Judd. Now, even though he is a good actor, which he is, I'm not saying he's not, nobody can replace Fred Gwynne as Judd. There was just something about Fred Gwynne playing Judd. It was just perfect. Like nobody else could have played him, and I'm glad he didn't try to copy the main accent, like the dead. Sometimes dead is better. I loved how Fred Gwynne did that, and I'm glad John Lithgow didn't try to mimic that accent, because it just would have been pathetic. Nobody can touch Fred Gwynne. This movie just seemed too polished and shiny and modern, and it didn't have that same feel that the original movie has. There's something about the original movie. It just feels, I don't know. I can't really explain it. One thing that I really hated about the remake is in the original movie, the mother has a sister named Zelda, who died when the mother was a little girl. She was taking care of him. She was supposed to be babysitting her, and she has some kind of like spine disorder, like I don't know, spina bifida. I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it's called. But she has like a fucked up spine, and she's like stuck in bed all the time. And the mother, Rachel Creed, when she was a daughter, was supposed to be babysitting her, and she let her die. I forget how the sister died, but her name was Zelda. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. In the original, Zelda was played by a man. Even though it was a female character, it was played by a guy, because they couldn't find a girl that was skinny and creepy looking enough that they wanted, so they hired this really skinny guy. I mean, if you watch this documentary, it tells you all about it. They hired this skinny guy to play Zelda. They dressed him up as a woman, and oh my god, that fucking Zelda, when I was a kid, gave me nightmares. Like, and I've seen a lot of people that talk about this movie and review this movie and comment on this movie. Obviously, I'm talking about this one right now, not the remake. The fucking character of Zelda in this movie, in the original, is terrifying. if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again. Like the camera shots of like, it's just, she's fucking, and then like there's one part where she's like laying in bed and she just like pops up like this and just like, it's just fucking creepy, dude. Like when I was a kid, man, I don't get scared by movies, even when I was a kid, but that fucking Zelda in that original movie scared the piss out of me. So when I knew this remake was coming out and I went to theaters, I was like, yes, I cannot wait to see fucking Zelda come back. Can't wait to see what they do with her. But man, this remake, they fucked. They ruined Zelda. First of all, they don't even really show her in this fucking movie. And when they do show her, it's like for like 2 seconds. And it's like all CGI. And dude, there's nothing in this remake that compares to the original with fucking Zelda. And the original, Zelda probably has 5 or 10 minutes, not 10, probably like 5 minutes of screen time. And this, she probably has 5 seconds of screen time. And when they show her, she looks like shit. She's not scary. She's all CGI'd. Fucking terrible Zelda. Piece of shit Zelda. They fucking ruined Zelda in this movie. I was so excited to see a new Zelda and be creeped out and be like, yes! But nope. They fucking barely have her in the movie, and when she's in the movie, it's fucking stupid. Terrible. They ruined Zelda. God damn. I'm sorry, but there isn't many good things to say about this remake. I know I own it on Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray. Blah blah blah. Because I don't know. Because it's Pet Sematary. I had to own it. I mean, it's not all bad. Some of the acting is good. I mean, the father, what's his name? Does it even say his name on here? Oh, Jason Clarke is his name. He's in like, I think one of the later Terminator movies, like Terminator Salvation or something. I stopped watching Terminator after Part 3. Everything after Part 3 was crap. But he does a good job. The wife does a good job. The daughter does a pretty good job. I mean, even Gage does a good... The acting isn't that bad. It's just... the outcome of the movie could have been a lot better than it was. That's all I'm saying. So... and then at the end, during the credits, they in the original movie, they play the Ramones song, Pet Sematary by the Ramones, which they wrote specifically for that movie and created a music video just for that movie. Stephen King is a huge Ramones fan, so he incorporated that into the movie. In fact, in the original movie, the truck driver that kills Gage is actually listening to a Ramones song, and he's singing along to Sheena. Sheena is a punk rocker. He's singing the song. And at the end of the movie, they play the song Pet Sematary that I told you that the Ramones wrote. And then in this remake, at the credits, they have some fucking band that covers that song, and it sounds like shit. Like, they ruined it. Why didn't they just keep the same song from the original, the Ramones version? Why do they have this shitty cover song? I don't know. And in this one, the daughter gets killed, so he brings her back, and when she comes back, she's like talking. The father is like giving her a bath. He's like sleeping in the same bed with her, and she's like talking to him. When Gage came back in the first one, the little kid, when he came back, he was evil. He was a fucking evil little baby that killed people. Like, he killed Judd. He cut his fucking Achilles tendon with a fucking scalpel and like bit his throat and killed him. He killed his mother too. And in this one, the little girl comes back and the father's giving her a bath and brushing her hair, and she's talking, and she's like, "Am I dead?" or some shit. I've only seen this like twice, to be honest, so I can't really remember much of it. I remember not liking it. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. I was very, very disappointed with it. And so the daughter is not like, she should have been like how Gage was in the first movie. Gage was an evil little fucking baby that killed 2 people. In this, she's fucking taking baths, getting her hair brushed by her father, and laying in bed like, Daddy, will you lay with me? And he lays with her, and like, it's just fucking dumb where they went with this movie. Just dumb. And they ruined Victor Pascal. If you remember in the first one, this is a picture of Victor Pascal. He's a kid that is hit by a truck, and the father, Louis Creed, he's a doctor. I don't know if I've mentioned that earlier. He's a doctor working at the college where this kid is a student who gets hit by a truck. They bring him in. His brain is all hanging out of his head and shit. He's fucking scary in that movie. Like, in the remake, they ruined him too. They ruined Zelda, and they ruined Victor Pascal. And in the original, Victor was fucking scary and creepy. And this one, he's just dumb and like, I don't know. He's not used. They did so many things wrong with the remake. I mean, I wanted to like it. I really did. Because I'm one of those people that will always give a remake a chance. Because I like to see movies from someone else's perspective, you know? And there are a lot of good remakes out there. Like Friday the 13th is a fucking great remake. If you've seen my Friday the 13th ranking video, you know I love that movie. There's a lot of good remakes. There's like Evil Dead, which was different than the original Evil Dead, but it was like a good different. Like they did a good job with it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a good remake. Man, there's so many. Night of the Living Dead from 1990. I could go on. And King Kong. I have a whole video on my channel of my favorite remakes. So if you want to know what remakes I enjoy, click on my channel, go check out the videos, and then look for my favorite. Excuse me. Woo. Click on my video called My Favorite Remakes, and that's I tell you all about all of my favorite remakes. So that's my review, guys, of the Pet Sematary franchise. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, comment, all that shit. Show me some love. Tell me how you feel about Pet Sematary. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you like the first one, but you hate the sequel and the remake? Or do you like all three of them? Do you hate all three of them? Give me your feedback. I want to know how you feel about this franchise. Well, is it there's 3 movies. Does that make it a trilogy? Well, if the third one's a remake, does that really make it a trilogy? I don't think so, no. Is it a franchise? How many movies do you have to make a franchise? Is that an actual thing? You have to have a certain amount of movies? I don't know. I know a trilogy is parts 1, 2, and 3, but this only has 1, 2, and then a remake, so I don't think that really makes it a true trilogy. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you haven't seen this fucking documentary, I know I've said this a million times already, but check this out if you are a fan of Pet Sematary. This is a fucking amazing documentary. Amazing. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long, so you get your money's worth. This is as long as a feature-length film, people. And they go in-depth to show you never before seen fucking pictures, everything you want to know about the making of the first Pet Sematary from 1989. Please check that out. Leave your comments below, like, subscribe, all that good shit, and take care.